came off worse for wear, he was waiting for heals, and they simply didn't play aggressive enough, and we'll see what the picks and ban strategy is this time round.
So, pick and ban, well, the ban's through very quickly, and they have adjusted. However, it wasn't Orianna they got rid of. They did get rid of Maokai, of course.
Leaving Nidalee open.
Leaving Nidalee open, which looks like it's going to be a first pick straight away. So, Freddy. So, Freddy getting on one of his favorite champions, maybe, but it's a Morgana switch.
So, safe pick. Maybe contemplating a counter pick. You know, if you lock in that Nidalee and Millenium have prepared something against it, then maybe that can work in their favor. But at the end of the day, Millenium really need to go back to the drawing board. I don't think Lucian worked. We're in a bit more of a hyper carry, AD carry meta for the time being. Tristana, Kog'Maw doing very, very well. If you want to go for a power spike, a poke, a mid-game win, hell, lock in the Corki, go for that, you know, mixed damage and try to get something going. And I like this little switch up from Millenium. This is something that I think is a little more fitting to where the patch and where the players currently are.
Yeah, also Corki, nearly 15 KDA for Create on that champion, so that's definitely a champion he works well on. Now, Alistair, of course, selected this time. Will it be Kevin in that top lane, or is it the support for Jerry? Now, remember, we are in Game 2, and you may be wondering, why the hell are Millenium still red side in this best of 5? They chose to be there. They have the choice, SK, of course, coming into it, and Millenium chose Game 2 as red, and Game 4 is blue, I believe, as well.
Yep.
So we'll see whether we actually get that.
The only game this series that Millenium would play on blue side is Game 4. Every other one of them, they're on red side. And in theory, that should allow you to counterpick. You know, if you let through OPs, you ban something slightly lower down your tier list, maybe give away a Maokai, but get a Kassadin or an Orianna or something high priority. But that's something Millenium have to try and strategize around. Maokai was the big question for Deficio and I upstairs. Millenium let it through Game 1, it cost them. And I'm not sure they're going to let it through again until potentially Game 4, where they could theoretically first pick it.
Yeah, so Svenskeren locking in Elise. Remember, Elise, a few changes. It's going to thread the needle now because it's a slightly thinner cocoon you can throw out there. But again, Candy Panda is on Kog'Maw, who he just did fantastically well with 10-1-7 in Game 1 on that champion. Will Millenium go back to Jarvan the 4th? Lee Sin is available, but of course had a lot of changes in 4.13. We're not expecting it to see a great deal of it because, of course, of the weakness that it now has late game.
Yeah, it has fallen off. I mean, Evelyn is still up as well. You know, shorter duration on Lee Sin's W, slightly more nerfed in terms of reducing attack speed, but regardless of that, I quite like the idea of the Jarvan and Aatrox combo. You've seen in the previous game, despite Millenium being like 8 or 9k gold down, when they did jump onto Candy Panda's Kog'Maw, they got a lot of damage down. This time around, Millenium's front line is going to be primarily this Aatrox and Alistair combo, and they're going to be looking for Cottonex to flank around the side. Cottonex has to do more work with Eve than Lulex did yesterday, because Lulex's Eve was simply non-existent. Partially because his lanes were obviously losing very badly. So Millenium want to go even in lane and create opportunities for Cottonex to come in and make plays happen.
So with that Eve and Aatrox now locked in, it does mean once again Jez gets his hands on Ahri. And we are also going to see Nidalee in the top lane for Freddy. Is considering an assassin? It is.
It have to be.
It's Fizz.
Yep. It is Fizz indeed. So Millenium, assassination, looking for skirmishes, definitely looking for a mid-game victory here. Aatrox, Fizz, Corki are going to be very scary with just 1 or 2 items. And if Millenium are roaming around the map with the support of Cottonex to surprise and put that Agony's Embrace down, that's how Millenium are going to create opportunities for themselves. But the longer that this game goes, the more I feel the Kog'Maw, the Ahri, the Elise, and the Nidalee are going to become more and more able to deal with Millenium. In those siege situations, there is so much poke on the side of SK Gaming, and they've got the same tools to land a single skill shot and then delete people. Cocoon, Charm, Dark Binding. Instantly, you're going to see somebody being pounced on and being melted by those two solo laners of SK Gaming. So for SK, it's very, very similar. For Millenium, they've got the aggressive mid laner. Their now process is more about making plays as opposed to relying on Ziggs for wave clear.
We'll see how this one works out, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, this is the quarterfinals. Winner goes through and plays Alliance. Loser, well, they're going to face the Super Hot crew in the 5th place playoff match, which is not a position anyone wants to be in, because you lose that game and suddenly you're down in relegation and effectively out of the LCS. You have to play your way back in that spring promotion tournament. And as we saw yesterday with the Unicorns of Love qualifying through, there is some tough opposition down in that Challenger Series playoff. But of course, we want to see who is going to make it to the World Championships, which is coming up soon. Gamescom is just next week. It begins on Wednesday with, of course, the LCS matches kicking off on the Thursday, where that 5th place match will be. Who is going to be there? That's the question. SK Gaming starting out in Game 2 as the blue side once again, and it is a red side start for Millenium. And already we are seeing some Diamond-esque start.
I wonder if Millenium have been scrimming Gambit this week, because Quaterfinal ran no, it's the other way around. Svenskeren ran the Kha'Zix build, slightly similar to Diamond, and in this time around, starting with this blue pot, it was Diamond Prox that destroyed last week on an early game Evelynn, and it was against SK Gaming as well, actually. Invaded, stole the blue buff, and it was Gambit that broke SK's potential perfect super week. So we'll see if Quaterfinal can do the same thing.
Fnatic-esque warding coming out of Millenium here. They're going to try and put the wards deep down in the lane. They want to get some vision. So we'll see if that works out for them. But the problem is, you know, while it worked for Diamond, because he was so sneaky, he went around and didn't actually have the pot on him, so he never actually got spotted. He backed off to base, came back late, and then got those 3 kills. Quaterfinal has walked past wards. He's already been spotted. They know exactly what he's got in his inventory. And
also part of the reason that it ended up working so well for Diamond last week is Svenskeren was greedy. He went for multiple camps in his jungle, and Diamond was able to get in into his opponent's jungle at the right time to look for that kill, secure first blood, and obviously steal the buffs away. So let's see if Quaterfinal can implement the same strategy that Diamond did. He popped the elixir instantly on his first buff and immediately went aggressive after that. So it is a very all-in strategy. And if it works, you can make back that gold, whether it be the kills or camps. Obviously, if it doesn't, you are delayed to getting your first jungle item.
Well, Freddy was over at the blue. The red buff start, sorry. Millenium are going for the invade, so you're going to see the red buff start. Sven's going unawares of this. Doesn't realize it's happening. We'll see whether he continues his route, but this may be a 3-buff start for Millenium. That would be a good start for Quaterfinal, who now, of course, still has that pot unused with the assistance of J-Ree. They are looking to make him make play. Now they're going to see him. They're going to have seen J-Ree. He knows it. Look, he's already heading to the red.
Yeah, very, very aware.
Or go for mid.
Now the question is, how does Millenium react? Do Millenium have the information to work with? They, you know, they have to make an educated guess.
They have to know they were spotted. The way that Jez is played, he went straight to the left instantly.
And it is quite smart from Svenskeren because he's got the support in the top lane. Anyways, Quaterfinal, he has not popped the elixir yet. They've caught Candy.
Headbutt Pulverize comes out, Candy Panda, but it was a great dark binding from N-Rated that stopped Quaterfinal in his tracks. He'd already popped the blue pot. It was a kill they needed, but it's not a kill they're going to get. Svenskeren comes around, steals the red.
So first aggressive play from J-Ree. That was the flash pulverize at level 1, managing to connect, but it didn't actually result in a kill. So Quaterfinal going to be using some of that time on his elixir just to farm up his blue buff. We'll see how he decides to path. It's actually Svenskeren that has gotten himself a fairly safe start, realizing where his opponents were, and obviously the moment that gank went down, there's no pressure on Sven. He's fully aware that he's going to be safe to keep farming up. Now the mid lane, Assassin versus Assassin. Kerp, now that he has level 3, is actually quite frustrating to deal with because he can all-in you and put a lot of burst damage down onto Jez's, and as long as Kerp doesn't get hit by the charm, he should also be able to avoid being assassinated. For Jez's, it's all about getting multiple dashes away. Once Kerp hits level 6 and he goes for that Chum the Waters, even if Jesus does get connected by the Shark, as long as he gets 2 dashes away from Fizz, he should be able to survive. So it's going to be a very difficult assassination battle between these highly mobile mages.
This is a risk that has not paid off for Quaterfinal. His jungle has been stolen away. The gang didn't work. He's still only got 10 CS. He's trying to desperately use his smite because the red camp didn't get reset either. Whereas Sven Skjern's going around happy as Larry right now. Got his items already started out in Connex. He's desperate for a kill. That's why he's going towards Freddy. Freddy on Nidalee. It's going to be very hard to pin down here. Millenium have to land everything. There's the slow. There's the dark flight. They catch him down. He is in trouble and he will go down. Connex, God, did he need that kill.
Yeah, he really did and made it count. It was all Kevin landing the knockup, managing to hold Freddy in place. And I like the fact that you were saying Quaterfinal was struggling regarding the early start, and it feels like it was a lack of preparation. You're just like, hey, Blue Pot Evelyn, that's a thing, because they were wandering around. He did have the support of J-Re in the jungle, but Svenskin didn't start his red. So Millenium either didn't research SK Gaming or misinterpreted where SK was going to start. And SK, with great vision and warding, immediately negated the threat.
So, bottom lane pairing, Creaton about to go back and buy. We haven't seen him a great deal down this bottom lane. Candy Panda, of course, had to burn that flash early on. It got him safe, and a fantastic dart binding from N-Rated. Cotnex, again, flanking around the mid lane. Jez is the next focus target. He comes around. Flash immediately used out there. Successful game.
Yeah, definitely. Getting the summoner spell. That's at least one of those things of mobility that's going to allow Kerp to potentially punish him. Jesus in the previous game was fairly quiet. I mean, he had his moments in team fights, but he wasn't necessarily needed to carry. SK were playing it very, very slow by the numbers, moving around the map. And we'll see this time around if we have more fights, which I am expecting, how he's going to handle himself. And Kerp is, of course, running Flash Teleport in the mid lane, not Ignite like Jez's. Last time, Jez's and Kerp went toe-to-toe with Flash Teleport, Flash Ignite. Jez's was Ari, Kerp was Kassadin. And they ended up losing. I think that was week 10 or week 11, if memory serves.
Super Week, I believe, yeah.
And we'll see how Kerp handles himself this time around.
It was the final battle they had in Super Week between each other. So, Cotnex once again coming down. This time, let's see whether he roams around. Ward was placed in the tri-bush for J-Re, who... again, this time on the cow. Started out a little bit different, hasn't rushed out for those mobility boots, so it doesn't look to be moving around the map too often. Kerp is just farming out that mid lane, keeping even in farm. But Creaton this time, he has the advantage in farm. J-Re again, looking to try and create a play, but remember, that Black Shield will block off a headbutt or pulverize. Candy Panda wiping out the wave, no problem.
Yeah, he's going to even up the CS, but you see how defensive he's playing in lane without Flash. So that very early gank, even though it didn't result in a kill, it did mean Candy Panda's playing safe, he's playing cautious. We'll see if Sven Skjern goes in, but just very quickly, part of the reason that J-Re might not be going for the immediate Moby boots, Nomad's Medallion has also been changed in 4.13. Fairly big change, actually. Lower mana regen, but it now gives movement speed. And when you upgrade it to Talisman of Ascension, it's more movement speed, a slightly lower CDR. So we'll see how that impacts. It's a buff invade for Millenium. This is what SK were doing during Super Week when they were red side. When SK Gaming is on red side of the map, they would invade their opponent's red as a group with their duo.
It was such a big tell, though, the fact that, of course, J-Re went across there to shut it off, that immediately, well, Sven Skjern saying, fine, you did this before, I know the exact timings. Well, actually, he knows the rough timings. Remember, he didn't clear the camp. Yeah. So Red's not going to be up just yet, but he has a pretty good idea on the timings. Instead, he goes around, steals away the Wraiths, goes towards the red, but Sven, you didn't clear that camp out, did you? So you don't have it, which is where it would have respawned right now. Instead, he's going to try and go towards the top and see if he can go to Kevin.
As long as he presses tab, he's got vision, he'll know when it'll be back up.
Yes.
Look for the cocoon. It is thinner, repel range is shorter, but both junglers are present in this top lane, so Sven...
They know he's there.
Sven is going to have slightly higher burst damage, but here comes Cotnex.
He's going to repel, he's got nowhere to go, he just drops straight down, has to flash away. And Freddy covers him off. He's spotted by a ward, and keep our eye on that mid lane. Jessis is making tracks up towards this jungle. We'll see where the curve comes around the side. Caught out! That's going to be a very, very squishy Elise. Sven Skjern going down.
I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, we go back to pre-game, we go back to warding. Despite SK having a ward in the tri-bush and in the Wraith Camp bush, Sven may have been anticipating some more support from his teammates or waiting to read the situation, but he was stood right on top of Millenium ward. So they punish him for sticking around, and that is one of those risky invades that we talked about at the very top of the game.
I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, he knew he was spotted, he'd flashed away, and he still stayed in the bush. Don't know what
Maybe he was
he's doing.
scratching his head.
A little bit of greed, maybe, going towards that red buff. Nonetheless, he didn't get it. The blue buff spawns. Cortex will pick this one off. Whether he's going to give it Kerp or whether he'll keep it himself. It looks like it's going to be for himself, actually. Obviously, on an Elise, it will help. No, Kerp making his way across.
Second game in a row that Freddy is getting control of his lane. Aatrox into Maokai did not work out for Kevin in game 1. And Freddy is currently punishing Aatrox. Got a 24-25 CS lead. There goes Enrated.
Oh,
We'll
flash
see if
Soul
J-Ree gets caught out.
Soul Shackles does stun up J-Ree, has got his ultimate. He's going to have to use it. There we go, 70% reduction, but a great Dark Binding again from Enrated. Is he going to smite? Flashes out! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Alistair change and why we're starting to see him play. 70% reduction throughout on that ultimate. Fantastic stuff.
Oh, so many summoner spells though. Jez has misread that one a little bit. Can he connect with the charm? This is what we're looking for.
That's the second Spirit Rush used. Charm does not land. He's going to keep him busy. Connex should not have stuck around there. Curve comes in, pounces in towards him. Jump the water's not going to land, and now he's in trouble. Tries to go towards Svenskeren. He's going to have to run away from this one. He's got no support in the jungle, trying to use the vision in the bush. Jez instead comes in. He's going to get the Foxfire all over him. Comes back on towards Svenskeren. Is it enough? No, the burn will not get him down, and Svenskeren gets revenge and gets himself a kill.
And just like that, Millennium give up 2 kills. So in the jungle, Cotnex just stuck around. He didn't have his Agony's Embrace available, didn't have the shield, and I think heard the call, I'm coming from Kerp, but it just took too long. And then Kerp, of course, despite putting some damage down, it just simply wasn't enough. So 2 relatively easy kills for SK Gaming. They're going to have a minor lead.
Ooh.
Here comes J-Ree from behind. I think Candy Panda. Oh, good flash, actually.
Yeah. Headbutt landed, but Candy Panda flashing out, and again, burned very quickly, but safe play again.
So did you see the route that J-Ree went? He did actually pick up early Moby boots once again. We did not see him roaming in the previous game. So despite having those Moby boots, he didn't really move around the map to help out. This time around, he did. So 2v1, knockup doesn't connect on Freddy though.
Dark Flight going down, Kevin pops his ultimate, flash comes out early from Freddy, he should be able to pounce away from this one, and he is clear, and that is the danger of an Italy. They are very slippery creatures and you cannot pin them down.
No, definitely not. Ooh. So for Millennium, they're much more proactive than game 1, so I think we have to give them credit for that. And I was touching on those boots of mobility from J-Ree. I really like the fact that he's got a deep ward in SK's jungle, which should give some read onto Svenskeren's movements. And with 2 players to teleport, they can use it to impact. So 2v2, but his Cotnex is going to be in trouble.
Oh, he's almost dead. Svenskeren, one more hit should be enough here. Cotnex is running for his life here. Can he get into the jungle? No! Svenskeren, again. Well, he was caught out of position. It was the same spot he died last time around, and now he could rotate and go straight towards Kevin.
Yeah, we'll see if he can actually, pull this tower dive. Well, Kevin is going to have his blood well popped in a second. Before he's even in tower range, actually. No, one more hit. Minion wave, and Kevin's in so much trouble. I don't know if he can get away with his life here.
Flash already used, so Svenskeren's taking a lot of damage from those minions around the side there. Let's look at Kerp, he's making tracks, he's rushing up there. Cocoon dodged out of. There's going to be Bloodwell. He's on the tower. Is it going to be enough, though? Kerp's still running. He's not quick enough, though. Has not got grade 2 tier 2 boots. And Svenskeren will back away. Bloodwell only burned those, so Kevin survived.
A little bit awkward. I did think Freddy and Sven would have been able to make a slightly better deal of that, but as you rightly pointed out, Sven was relatively low from that previous kill, and then the minions just did a lot of damage to him. So he got melted out. Now Kevin burned his flash, burned his Bloodwell, is still on the losing end of that top lane. But Millennium are just making some very strange decisions. Cotnex roaming around his jungle, and we'll see Critter's in trouble bottom.
With the Ignite running, he's going to finish.
But
Didn't
look, here
quite
comes
get
Kerp.
taken down. Kerp is going to come around the side. Candy Panda, no flash available, remember. J-Ree had to burn that one out. It's going to be N-rated. He focuses it on. That's not a good attack, and a brilliant Dark Binding again comes out of N-rated. Stops that attack dead in his tracks.
And Kirby hesitated so long on Chum the Waters. Comes in, and yes, he was able to playful tricks to the Soul Shackles, but it didn't matter. And Rated just walked away with Black Shield, and because Kerb's left his lane, that means SK are going to grab the first tower of the game here in this middle. And it's just almost a little bit odd for for Millennium. They're just not really making the best mechanical decisions in their lane. Creatine and J-Re started relatively well, but the moment N-Rated and Candy Pan have scaled up and had their summoner spells, they've evened the game back out.
Yeah, the timings are just off, it seems, and SK Gaming now move around for the Dragon. Cotnex and J-Re are close, but this is going to have to simply be a smite steal from Cotnex if he can get close. Teleport comes out. Kevin's going to join this one. Dragon already low. J-Re gets a good pulverize on towards him. N-Rated will get picked off. Dragon still not taken down. Candy Panda goes down as well. This is a good cleanup fight for Millenium. Jez is caught in the back of the pit right now. Svenskeren forced away from this one. There is one kill. It's going to be no smite available. Who's going to get the Dragon? It's going to get picked up by Millenium. And it was a 2-for-1 trade as they get away. So that is a small victory for them there.
Yeah, 2-for-1. Millennium's team comp, as we said, does slightly better in the early to mid game, and all of SK's members are not really designed for tanking anything up. You know, Nidalee, while she will build Bruiser eventually, is not really going to be the type of champion that wants to do that thing, nor is Elise, nor is Ari, in regards to the team comp. So you see, Freddy's just hanging out in the side lane, comes to the party late. Millennium create a good clump, focus down the members because they're grouped up slightly more effectively, and SK were in full retreat mode. So good counterplay from Millennium to bring themselves back into the game despite losing a second tower.
Well, quick teleport from Freddy went straight towards that top, and he has taken down the second turret of the game for SK, so they're now 2-0 up, and of course that is giving them a bit of a gold lead. Kevin, as you mentioned, losing out in this lane. Darkflight used, tries to pounce on towards Freddy, who himself just turns around, puts some claws back in him, happy to trade. Svenskeren again countering, moving in towards the jungle of Cotnex, who himself is having to hold off this mid lane because, well, Jezza simply is putting pressure on Kurt.
So Cotnex is going to be the man, in my eyes, for Millennium to actually win these mid to late game team fights now, because Freddy, Jez, nobody on SK's side really wants to stand in a straight up 5v5. They want to be kiting, they want to be moving around, you know, in and out, darting back and forth. If Cotnex is able to come from the side lane and surprise members of SK and then force them to split up prematurely, that is where Millennium can then focus down the targets they want. If SK are playing Peel from Evelyn, and then J-Re or Kevin can get a knock-up onto somebody, or even Kerp with Chum the Waters, that's how Millennium will find the targets and the people they want to kill in team fights.
Good trade from Freddy. Quickly gets in, puts the damage down. Kevin didn't even swing, didn't do a basic auto attack there, and already did the damage. Now he's going to try and bait him in. Dark Light lands, turns it straight back around, pops that ultimate, quick flash away from Freddy, and he's gone.
Very, very quick. I mean, you're not going to catch Nidalee. You need more than that. Cotnex has tried, is that the third time now? First gank was successful, the following two have not been. And yes, they got the flash, so all credit to them. They did get the summoner spell, but it cost them two of their ultimates and a tower. I mean, the focus, the pressure in that lane on that champion has allowed Millennium, has allowed SK rather, to grab their third tower of the game.
Teleport bottom is going to come around. Kerp sneaking in the back there. Candy Panda flashed out already. Chum the Waters does not land. N-Rated focused on but not caught out. And this is turning horribly wrong for Millennium. Candy Panda now focusing on towards Kerp. Playful tricks to back up in a moment, but not quick enough as Svenskeren gets on him. Jezza's closing in towards this one. It's going to be a 4-on-2. Quickly turn into a 4-on-3 as they back off, and Millennium, they may lose an inner turret.
SK Gaming dodged every single spell they needed to in that team fight. With uses of flashes and positioning, they just juked around Millennium, and that was what we were talking about. As long as SK can kite and can fight, they're going to be able to put all the damage down in the world that they want. So they grab themselves another tower out of the deal, they win the engage, they get the kills, and mechanically, Millennium was struggling. Now, it's going to be 2v2 in the mid lane. Let's see who's going down.
Well, Bloodwell is available for Kevin. Spirit Rush is down there. He's going to try and put the damage down. It's Cotnex he's going to focus on. Hasn't used the charm yet. Oh, he missed it. Jezza's though, Ignite put down. That will be a kill. And Jezza's finds yet another. Millennium are slipping slowly out of this game.
Yeah, Kevin with a very, very cheeky recall gets himself out of there. And, you know, when we started the series, in my mind, it was going to be Millennium. All right, Jezza's no ult. Great job!
That was a flash, but Charm, as you mentioned, lands, and again, the dark bindings from N-Rated have been absolutely pinpoint, stopping attack after attack.
So the point that I was trying to say just before J-Re gave himself up to turn into Stake was mechanically and individually, coming into the series, I would have actually said Millennium were slightly higher than the average of SK in terms of how they play. But it's SK that is landing skill shots and dodging skill shots. Chum the Waters is up for Kerp, but there's too many members in that mid lane. Millenium need to have a perfect engage for this to work out. It's very, very risky, and they've caught Kevin.
They know he's coming though. Pink Ward spots him, Kerp comes around the side. While this is all happening, Freddy is taking down the top turret, the next inner turret. SK rotate up there as a team. Look at Millenium, they want to rush down the mid lane. The minions will be coming with them, but they've got to protect their base, surely. The whole of SK are up there. Jez is the simple man just holding them off. They've realized it, they're all backing away, but is it too late?
I think it just might be. There's a lot of damage on SK's side, and they've got the attack speed increase from Nidalee as well. This is going to cost him an inhibitor turret. Kevin's going to try get in range, but he hasn't got the support of the rest of his team. Can Millenium find kills? This is key. Look for Chum the Waters.
Big dark flight required. He's going to come around the side. Chum the Waters catches on towards Freddy, but again, Millenium haphazard, not engaging. Finally, Cartnex goes around there, so lines are good. Agony's embraced, but SK Gaming, the disengage is superior, and SK just playing with their victims right now as they kite them backwards.
Millenium lost a tower just by simply being out of position and not reading the situation accurately. They were trying to chase a team fight in the mid lane that you rightly pointed out. SK were fully aware of. Millenium walked over wards. And then instead of Millenium going, right, let's try and take a tower, or let's back away, let's not force them to that top lane where it's clear Freddy's pushing, they end up losing 2 towers in the top lane. They will get 1 in reply. But it just feels like SK are mechanically outplaying Millenium, and strategically in this game, definitely a step ahead. More so than from game 1.
I'd love to see a Dark Binding count from N-Rated. We saw it, of course, with Crepo last week in the North American LCS, landing every single skill shot. SK moving in. Dragon started out. It's going to get taken surely. It will be gone down quick. The question is, can Millenium get out free? Jerry holding off on that ultimate. Not available to him. Freddy going to pounce. Wow. Close the gap pretty quickly there. Now he's going to come around. Quaterfinal found out there's no towers, remember. Basic attack even doing a lot of damage. Evelyn and Kerb having to make tracks. They've snuck away. They've got to clean up this one. But look at SK. All of them pushing up. Big minion wave. They can keep on going. They're going to rotate around. It's the middle inner turret they want next.
So this time around, Millenium are pushing it probably the right time. They have minions top, middle, and bottom all in their favor. And instead of going for the inhibitor turrets, back themselves away and going for that last inner turret. It is very, very low. So this will give them the seventh turret of the game, and Millenium, they can't even contest. For Millenium to fight SK, they need Kevin or Jerry to knock up members, and they need Cotnex to flank. Unless those requirements are met, SK are just going to keep darting backwards and throwing out the damage. Let's see where Cotnex's position is. If he's just going to run straight up forward, I'm not sure that's a good knockup.
They're going to catch on towards him. Jerry pops his ultimate. Kevin tries to come in, but there's not a great deal of damage coming out from Millenium just yet. Kerb will get first going down, but he's going to pay the price. His own life. Jez is now caught out. Freddy low, but he's going to get away. Kraton, one last rocket, but he's in a duel with Candy Panda, and it's not one he's going to win as Candy Panda takes him round. Comes back around the side. Cotnex runs in and immediately finds Candy Panda. Kevin jumps on towards him. The AD carry will go down. They can try and turn this one. And Captain Surprise is going to blow up, but Cotnex tries to sidestep. No, not enough. And rated. Dark Binding lands again. Chart follows through, and Jesus gets himself the kill. It's the ace for SK as they take down Millenium.
3 for 5, and there was a good initiation to the fight for Millenium, but Cotnex would, in an ideal world, have come from the side. If Cotnex was running from the bush on the right-hand side onto Candy Panda, instead of directly up front taking all of the damage, that could have been such a big turnaround fight. I do like the fact that Kerb was able to jump into the team and pull SK apart, but it simply wasn't enough. Cotnex is going to put Agony's Embrace down, but the fight is basically over at this stage, and Millenium just funneled through this middle lane, so any AoE damage that could come out from Ari, from Kog'Maw, from the Soul Shackles is just very, very powerful onto Millenium's team.
And Jez is now at 5-0-3. Has the edge once again over Kerpu. He really needed, if he had that Zodiac Hourglass in that last fight, he would have been fine. Pounced in there and knew he was going to be dead. He managed to get the jungler down, but I'm not sure jumping into 4 members for 1 kill on a jungler while you're the big power of your team, whether that was worth it.
We talked about the kills in the middle. A little bit of a mispulverized. Can Jerry get away?
He's got no ultimate. He's going to have to flash. He's already gone from this one. And Millenium caught out of position once again. Jed Kerb in all sorts of trouble. Tries to play full Trickster away, but the spear will go through the burn. Not quite enough. Chugging down those health pots, and a little bit of a heal from Jerry, just about helping him out there. But now they're in trouble again. He has to go back to the fountain as does J-Ree, and they're pushing on towards this inhibitor turret.
SK Gaming have found the confidence that was lacking in game one. They are so much more decisive in this particular matchup, and they are chasing Millenium. Look at the goal difference. It is only 5,000, which is not a very big amount at the 25-minute mark, but SK are making it much bigger. Here comes from the side.
Connex tried to sneak in there, but immediately got spotted. Freddy pounced on him, and Candy Panda gets the kill. Jesus goes in, Charm not going to land, takes the tower hits. Candy Panda burns down the tower. Freddy throwing out those spears. Trinity Force on him as well, so he has tons of damage as he takes down one inhibitor. Top one is available as well. Second one will go down. SK Gaming turning on the power this time around, 24 minutes in.
Such a confident play, and I think Millennium's gambit of running red side is not working out. Might be the final engage as J-Ree's gone in.
J-Ree tries to do anything he can, but he just can't tank through the damage available. Candy Panda gets yet another kill. Kevin pounces in, will get down the support, but it's all he will get as SK continue to drive on through. 3 members of Millenium down. The second inhibitor will fall. SK will back out this time, but that base is in tatters for Millenium.
Super minions pouring through 2 lanes, and there's such a limited amount of control here from Millenium. The Dark Binding from Enrated completely won that fight. Quaterfinal was trying to come in from the side, trying to flank that he needed to do, like he wanted to do, but he just got spotted so quickly. So this is the fight that followed Quaterfinal going down. He's yet to respawn. Curb didn't even connect with his Chum the Waters, which is a big problem. He needs that damage to land. And I'm just very impressed now with how confident SK have played, considering how shaky they looked in game one. Shaky is probably a bit overly harsh, I think, from how hesitant they were in game one.
It's
That's
cautious.
A better word.
Yeah,
yes.
Cautious playing.
They
now the confidence, you know, going into the third game, looking like they're going to be 2-0 up. We could well see, just like we did with Super Crew, so scared Millenium to make a play. Curb out of position. This is a 1v1 now. It's going to turn into a 2v2. John the Waters goes down. Freddy will get drawn out from this one, but he's got nowhere to hide right now. Curb's going to go for it. Not going to get the kill. Freddy survives, and SK push in on a 4-on-5.
So I want to go back and just talk about that previous game, because part of the reason that maybe they did, obviously you have to deal with Zig's wave clear, which prohibits and limits sieging, but in addition, the engage of a Jarvan Aatrox is very threatening. Quaterfinal has had little to no impact this game, and he's got a Hex Drinker and a Negatron Cloak. That is not a very scary, tanky Evelyn. And you know, considering how on point Enrate has been with his Dark Bindings, the few times Quaterfinal has tried to flank, SK have just shut him down. So part of the reason the confidence could come from analyzing and evaluating their opponent's team comp. Anyways, Kerp is about to respawn. SK have got supers in 2 lanes. Freddy's pushing them into the Nexus. I think it's just a matter of time before they peel onto that final inhibitor turret.
Yeah, fighting a losing battle. Minions, super minions in the top and the middle, all on towards it. J-Ree caught out, Charm popped the ultimate. SK simply disengage, wait for that ultimate cooldown to run down while the spears continue to fly from Freddy on the side. Candy Panda steps in, gets another couple of basic attacks on that tower, will draw it down. There's one Nexus turret down to super minions. They continue to push on through with the protection of Freddy as he continues to volley out those spears towards them. Inhibitor turret now going to get forced in. Cannon wave will come through, and SK Gaming will take down the final inhibitor turret.
Millenium could barely deal with the super minions, and they've given up their 3rd inhibitor. J-Ree's looking for an engage. He's got no one with him.
He's got no one with him. He's tried to rush in too far. Curb caught out. The charm lands on towards him. Takes a lot of damage. He's got nowhere to hide on this one. Connex caught out. Soul Shackles will trigger from Enrated. That takes down one. Dark Binding does not land, but Kraton has to get away. The Ignite pushed on towards the fountain. SK pushing. Super minions are with them. Curb can't find his target. Desperately trying to get something, but Freddy just simply kites him around. He will get away. This time around, Playful Trickster finally lands. Curb gets on, gets 1, gets 2, but Candy Panda is still alive and just churning through the targets as J-Ree will fall. Svenskeren goes down. The Nexus is in trouble. That will drop, and SK Gaming will take game 2 here in a dominant performance. It's only a 28-minute victory, and SK, well, they are looking solid to play Alliance. Can they make it 3?
Based on the 2 games you've seen, I'm going to say yes. SK Gaming came out the gate swinging in this matchup, and they found all of their confidence. I mean, if you go back and look at how they were pushing game 1 with a 15,000 gold lead, in contrast to their 5,000 gold lead this game, it's day and night. And SK, because of Millenium's choice of wanting
Thank you very much, D-Man. So guys, what's the report card for Millenium for picks and bans in the second one? They requested red for also in the second game. So how do you think they adapted after game one, Jankos?
In my opinion, they didn't adapt because...
Let me check.
Let's just turn that one on over here.
There we go.
Okay, so in my opinion, they didn't adapt because they let Morgana and Kog'Maw go through again. I mean, they banned Maokai, and they picked Fizz against Kog'Maw, so it was a little bit of an unfair, but there was still Morgana in an enemy team, and she did a good job by protecting Kog'Maw. So I think SK won the ban pick phase again.
I think it's clear at this point that SK Gaming is miles ahead of Millenium in terms of picks and bans. Quaterfinal doesn't seem to play the right champions. He keeps locking in again. Now it was Corki, he was losing the last game. No late game hyper carriage, which really is like the big thing in the current patch, which we see a lot of like these late game carries like Tristana. Doesn't pick it in, even though it was open. For the second game in a row, he could have locked it in, didn't do it. And we see Aatrox twice now for Kevin, has no impact in the game. Overall, it just seems like SK Gaming are getting every single pick they want to have, and they're getting all the strong picks in the current patch, where Millenium are just trying to stick to what worked for them in the split, but doesn't necessarily work anymore.
Yeah, I do want to emphasize what you said there about Freddy in that top lane on Nidalee, and you were saying, Jankos, he's just so annoying to play against.
Well, his Nidalee is very good. We saw actually it was Kotangs ganking top lane, and even though they killed Freddy, he was still 30 CS ahead of Aatrox, of Kevin. So, you know, it's very hard to shut down Nidalee, especially Freddy's Nidalee.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're actually going to take a look at a replay where Millenium actually got a few things done with their comp nonetheless around the dragon.
Right, so dragon fight. Notice how SK Gaming are kind of stuck in the dragon pit here, which opens up now for Millenium to get the perfect engage. And we can just start rolling the clip. And this is basically what Millenium wants to do with the comp. They just didn't do it often enough.
Millenium pretty much goes in, they want to kill Kog'Maw, they did it, but it's still too late.
And that's the thing, so yeah, okay, sure. You kill two members here, you get the dragon. Still, at this point, if they don't completely snowball the game, they have a weaker comp. Also going into late game here, they have no chance pretty much of killing Candy Panda in late game teamfights because there's a Morgana of Black Shield making it very hard for Curb to even jump him. So they are in a situation where if they don't snowball the game, which is also why they kept looking for fights, they won't win. And Millenium as a team, talked about it before this game, they only have one tactic. Let's fight. If we don't win the fights, we don't get any gold, and then we just lose the game.
Which is actually quite odd because the Millenium we would describe before in the split would be like they would drag the game out a little bit. Yesterday, one of the suggestions we heard here at the desk for the Super Hot Cruise game is maybe they should pick those champions and just try and go late. But they seem to not be able to hold themselves back from going in that early. Jankos, what game is it you think they should play here in game 3?
I think they're just making mistakes in the pick ban phase because they're letting OP late game picks go through, and they pick actually early game champions, and they do anything with it. I mean, in this game, they were trying to do something. Kotenex bought Blue Elixir, he was trying to gank. They were trying to roam a little bit with Alistar, but it didn't work out. SK still managed to, you know, get a little bit in the mid game, get a little bit to the late game, and they just won.
Martin, what do you think Millenium can do here? Or what can SK do, and what should they keep doing to close it out?
Well, SK can just keep doing what they're doing now, get every single pick they want. Millenium have to pull up some late game comp if they want to play this game here, where they can't win the early game just on default, which is what they need to do with the comps they are picking at the moment. If they, sorry to say, but they probably have to say at the moment, okay, let's go full late game. And stall out the game, let's play for 1 hour, and see what happens. It worked for them in the promotion tournament where they didn't know what to do against NRP after they lost the first game, where NRP destroyed them. They went like full late game and just sat back, took it easy, went to late game and started winning team fights. At this point, because they're not winning the early mid game anyway, might be the only choice.
Well, we will see how long they take it in the next game. We're going to step away for a moment, but when we return, SK Gaming will look to close out the series while Millenium hopes for a comeback. Stay with us.